Max is going to do it, isn't he? He's 40 points behind, and I have far more confidence that he's going to do it over Norris or Piastri. And do you know what? It will serve McLaren right if he does, because all this fart-arsing around with papaya rules and swapping places and drivers having to give up points because pit stops went wrong and all this other stuff. All right, if Max Verstappen nicks the title off Piastri and Norris, it will serve McLaren right and prove once and for all what I've thought for a while, in that Max Verstappen is arguably the greatest Formula One driver of all time. If Max Verstappen wins this championship, he's won 5 titles in 5 different ways, which is absolutely insane. 2021, he won it on the last lap. 2022, he had to come back from a deficit, but started to dominate as the season drew to a close. 2023 was complete and utter annihilation. 2024, he was being hunted by Lando Norris, and in 2025, he is now the hunter chasing down the McLaren. So whatever the scenario, Max Verstappen has proved that he can come out on top, and I don't see why this year now, given that Red Bull seems to be the quickest car at the moment, I don't see any reason why Verstappen can't come out on top, even with the 40-point deficit. And you look at the other 2 title protagonists, you've got Oscar Piastri, who is hitting a really bad run of form at the worst possible time. Maybe this guy who has been cool and collected all season is starting to feel the pressure a little bit. And we also know that he tends to struggle late on in the season. A lot of the later tracks don't really suit him. We saw it last year, his form dropped like a stone after, I think it was a Dutch Grand Prix, where he was just nowhere, and then he couldn't really bring it back. And then you've got Lando Norris, who is taking chunks out of Piastri's lead. He is eating into his lead nicely. He's got the gap down to 14 points now, so he's more than half the deficit to Oscar. But the question is he going to be able to keep Max Verstappen behind him? Because whilst he's taking points off Oscar, Max is taking points off Lando, and that's what makes it really, really fascinating heading into these last 5 races. But I don't really know how McLaren play this now as a team, because both of their drivers are in a title battle. You can't tell them to hold position. You can't tell them to swap places, because they're both going for a driver's championship. But they've also got to be mindful that they've got a charging Red Bull right behind them who can take points off them at every single race. I really think McLaren's hands are tied on this one, because they've sewn up the constructors, so they haven't got that as an excuse anymore. Oscar and Lando are totally in it for themselves now, because they've only got the Drivers' Championship to go for. So I don't think McLaren really have a say in it as a team, really. It's down to the drivers now, because they've got to be selfish and they've got to go for what they want, which is a driver's title. But how do you play that with Max Verstappen being the most informed driver and honing in at a rate of knots? But when you've got 2 drivers that are so evenly matched and no constructors to prioritise anymore, I think you've just got to let Oscar and Lando race and see what happens. I don't think they've got any other choice. But I think these last 5 races are going to be absolutely fascinating. From what looked like quite an underwhelming title battle for a lot of this season, to be honest, has now suddenly come alive now that Max Verstappen has joined the party. And yeah, these last 5 races are going to be very, very interesting to see if Max can make a dent in that gap. Can Lando overtake Oscar? Can Oscar get back on form? It's going to be very, very fascinating, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out. It's reminding me of 2007, Hamilton and Alonso being so focused on each other, and Kimi Raikkonen just sneaks in and nicks it at the death. So will it be like that? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, very, very exciting times at the end of this Formula One season.